Question number 17. On a coordinate grid, shade the region that satisfies the inequalities y is greater than x squared plus 4x minus 12 and y is less than 4 minus x squared. So when we have the vocabulary and, it should satisfy both of them simultaneously. So let's see how does this work. I have the inequality y is greater than x squared plus 4x minus 12 and y is less than 4 minus x squared. Now, since both of them have a y and they have inequality sign, this one is smaller than y, okay, and this graph has to be greater than y. So basically this one has to be greater than this one because both of them have y to the left hand. So we can rewrite this as x squared plus 4x minus 12 is less than 4 minus x squared. In other words, I will draw the graph for the first quadratic graph and then the other quadratic graph, and I have to find out where on which area of the graph is this graph having a greater y value as compared to this graph. So let's move on with the question. I have x squared plus 4x minus 12 and 4 minus x squared. So to find the critical values where the graph intersects with the x-axis, I equate the graph to 0. So my product is equal to negative 12. Sum is equal to positive 4. And the numbers can be 6, 2s are 12, with positive 6 and minus 2. So I have x plus 6 into x minus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to negative 6 and x is equal to 2. On the other hand, I have 4 minus x squared. We equate it to 0 to find its x-intercepts. So this can be factorized by difference of two squares. A squared minus b squared identity, so that is a minus b into a plus b, or 2 minus x into 2 plus x. Therefore, 2 minus x is equal to 0. 2 plus x is equal to 0. 2 is equal to x, or simply x is equal to 2. And here x is equal to negative 2. We can sketch both of the graphs. So this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. Sketching the first quadratic curve, I know that I have x-intercepts minus 6 and positive 2. So somewhere here is minus 6 and here positive 2. So my graph, this is how my graph will look. Alright, and this is the graph of x squared plus 4x minus 12. Okay. Now, moving to the other graph, I have also another quadratic curve, but this quadratic curve has a minus coefficient with x squared. Therefore, it's going to be inverted or n-shaped. What are the intercepts? Intercepts are 2 and negative 2. So I'll just mark here negative 2. Let's use another color. So negative 2 here. And it's an inverted graph. So that's the graph of 4 minus x squared. Now, once again going back to the question, we want the graph of 4 minus x squared, or my green graph, to have greater y value as compared to my red graph. So if we observe here, for this part of the green graph, all the y values are greater as compared to this part of the red graph. So for example, if I take a coordinate here and here. So the x coordinates of both these points will be the same, but the y coordinate here will be bigger. So this, for this entire region here, for this entire region, the curve 4 minus x squared has bigger y values as compared to the curve x squared plus 4x minus 12. So let's shade this. Because they've asked us to shade the region where we have greater y values for the green graph, or for x squared 4 minus x squared. And that answers our question. We can also mark origin here, 0, 0 or O for origin, and that's it. So that answers question number 17. Moving to the last question, question number 18. So question number 18 says, on a coordinate grid, shade the region that satisfies the inequalities. So now we have here inequalities. Y plus x is less than 6, y is less than 2x plus 9, y is greater than 3, and x is greater than 0. So let's start working with these inequalities. In order to draw the inequalities, or in order to find the region for the inequalities, first we must always draw the line. So let's write the lines for all the inequalities. So the first one is y plus x is less than 6. So it's going to be y plus x is equal to 6, since we first want to find the line. Second one is y is equal to 2x plus 9. Third one is equal to y is equal to 3. And the fourth one is equal to x is equal to 0. In order to find the x and the y intercept, we make a table. Okay, now when we want to find the x-intercept on the x-axis, y coordinate is always 0. So if y is 0 here, x is 6, so x is 6. In order to find the y-intercept, we will put x 0, because on the y-axis, x is 0. So we put a 0 here, so we get y is equal to 6. For the second one also, we will draw a table. What is y value when x is 0? So 2 into 0 will give us 0. 0 plus 9, so y is equal to 9. When x is 0, y is 9. What happens when y is 0? So when y is 0, 2x is equal to negative 9, and x is equal to minus, y is equal to 0 for y. Okay, so 0 is equal to 2x plus 9. Therefore, 2x is equal to negative 9. Therefore, x is equal to minus 9 by 2, or x is equal to minus 4.5. So x is minus 4.5 when y is 0. And for the remaining two lines, we can just draw straight lines. Let's bring a graph paper. So here is our graph paper. Okay, so our first graph, for the first inequality, we need to first draw the line, which is y plus x is equal to 6. So let's first plot the coordinates. So the first coordinate is 0, 6. So 0, 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 0, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 0, 6. And then 6, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we can draw the line. Since I need help for drawing a straight line, I'm using a complete line. And then I will make it dotted, because it's not y plus x is less than or equal to. It's just less than. So later on, I'll make this line dotted. Okay. All right. So that's my line, which is y plus x is equal to 6. Once again, since it is just less than 6, it's going to be a dotted line. So we'll just make it dotted by using another color that shows the dots. So let's use dark blue. So it's not a solid line. Okay, and now I have to shade, because any inequality, any line which is any inequality is always representing a region. So the line divides the page into two parts. One is this part and the other is this part. One of the parts is the true part. So let's find out the true part by plugging in the one of the coordinates on the grid. So easiest point to take is 0, 0. But the point should not lie on the line. So this is called a test point. So if I'm taking a test point, I want to see which is the true region. So I've taken the test point as 0, 0. So if I plug in 0 here, so 0 for my x and 0 for y, 0 plus 0 is less than 6. And that is pretty much true. So the region containing the point 0, 0 is the true region. So this is the true region. Now it's always convenient to shade the false region. So I'm going to shade the false region. So this is the false region. Moving on to the second line, which is 2x plus 9. So we have the points 0, 9. So 7, 8, 9. This is 0, 9. 6, 0. Okay. And then the other point is minus 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 4, 0. So this is minus 4, minus 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.5, 0. So let's connect the lines, the dots. So extend it. Okay, so that gives me the line y is equal to 2x plus 9. Once again, the line which is here divides the page into two parts. One part is this one, all right, and the other part is this one. So when it is inequality, one of the parts is true or one of the regions is true. Now, since the point 0, 0 is not lying on the line, I can use this point as a test point. So if I plug in 0 here, I have for the second one, 0 is less than 2 times 0, which is 0 plus 9. So 0 is less than 9, which is true. So this is the true region containing 0, 0 point. Okay, this is the true region, sorry. This is the true region containing the point 0, 0. Okay, so this is the false region here. So we'll shade the false region. So shading the false region. Okay, now the third line is y is equal to 3. Line y is equal to 3 will always be parallel to x-axis. So this is the line y is equal to 3. 1, 2, 3. So this is y is equal to 3. Since the line is dotted, since the inequality is just y is greater than 3 and not greater than or equal to, the line has to be dotted. So let's make the line dotted. And now the shading of the inequality, it has to be greater than 3. So greater y values are up. So below region is the false region. So let's shade the false region. And now the last line is the x is equal to 0. So the inequality x is greater than 0 will be represented by the line x is equal to 0. So x is equal to 0 is in fact the y-axis. So x is equal to 0. This is the line x is equal to 0 and it is the y-axis. So let's draw a line here. Once again, since it is just greater than and not equal to, it's going to be a dotted line. So dotted line here. All right. Now the shading, the part x is greater than 0 is on the right side. So this is the true region and this is the false region. So let's shade the false region. Okay. So shading the false region. Okay. Now the question says work out the area of the shaded region, which means the true region has to be shaded. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shade the true region, which is my final answer, which doesn't have any lines in it. So that yellow region is my true region or my answer. So I have shaded the true region or the answer. And that answers question number 18. And with this, we finish the chapter review of the third topic, equations and inequalities.